thank you very much for tuning into the channel. Or maybe this is a podcast. I'm not really sure what type of how to even name this content. Maybe it's a short story about a man, 60-year-old man at the time of his disappearance, Henry Fermino, who has been missing since 2021. Why am I talking about Henry? I'm talking about Henry because I've seen his case mentioned on the Reddit some time ago. I think I had Henry's case listed down as something I want to talk about for at least half a year now. I would say it's a half a year. Henry was last seen on Sunday, May 9th in 2021. He was last seen at Capri Hotel in Dartmouth, Massachusetts. It's a small town. It's kind of connected to New Bedford. It's like right there connected to New Bedford. As I'm understanding, New Bedford is a more significant town in the location. So Capri Hotel, where Henry was last seen, it has a questionable reputation, to say the least. At least that's what you would gauge from people, leaving their comments, locals commenting on the motel. Henry himself, he was from New Bedford, and it's only 3 miles away from the motel where he was last seen. There is no known reason for Henry to be staying at that motel, or there's no known reason that has been publicly released. As far as I'm aware, the reasoning of him going to the motel is completely unknown to the public. The fascinating thing about this case, he is last seen, his last confirmed sighting is at 2 p.m. on the following day, after he checks into the hotel, and he is seen talking with an unidentified man. This unidentified man remains a person of interest to law enforcement, and this man never came forward. Henry's family suspect that this man may have some additional information that would explain Henry's mysterious disappearance. So Capri Hotel, questionable reputation. Some speculate that maybe Henry wanted to conduct illicit activities. Maybe he was going to meet someone, or even worse, maybe commit self-harm. Now, none of these, as far as I'm aware, none of these, theories and speculations have any solid, concrete, real proof behind them. As of this year, Henry is still classified as an endangered missing person, and his family continues to seek answers and to get some closure. Henry was born on May 19th, back in 1960. He disappeared just 10 days before his 61st birthday. Henry was a well-known person in the community of New Bedford. That is where he was residing. He had drove cabs for multiple years. He was a cook in local restaurants. He worked at the convenience store at some point. And his last known employment is at a local bar in New Bedford called the Knuckleheads Bar and Grill. So essentially what is happening is that Henry is a well-connected man in New Bedford. He has, from what I understand, many connections. There is not much that is publicly available on his family. The only people that I know that are part of his family would be his younger sister Trina, who is younger than him by 12 years. Now, Trina, she has spoken to the media a lot about the case, and she appeared on interviews. She is actively searching for answers to what happened to her older brother. Henry also has a son who he also has a close relationship, according to the information that you could find online. On May 8th, 2021, this was a Saturday, Henry checks into the Capri Motel and he books a 2-night stay. So he seemingly checks in for the weekend at Capri Motel. Immediately I have problems with this setup, and I do not really understand the reasoning because he lives in New Bedford. Capri Motel is in this town called Dartmouth. It's only 3 miles away. Why are you booking a weekend at Capri Motel? A motel with a shady reputation, to say the least. Capri Motel is connected to a road, like this main road. Across the street from Capri Motel, there's seems like some establishments, and then there is this huge, thick wooded area. This is important because there were searches conducted in that wooded area while authorities were looking for Henry. We're gonna talk about it in a little bit. So we don't know, at least I don't know, at what hour or for what exact reason Henry, 60-year-old cook from New Bedford, checks into this motel. The next morning, on the second day of his stay, which was supposed to be the last day he's at the motel, at 8 a.m., he leaves a voicemail to his girlfriend from a stranger's phone. So, Henry has his own phone, but he uses a stranger's phone to leave a voicemail. So the content of the voicemail is not publicly available. It could be anything. It could be like 2-3 words, or it could be like a full, handful of sentences. We don't know. And you would think that this is an important detail, but I would say that maybe it's not, because if it was, maybe we would have more information, and I feel like law enforcement would have provided us with those additional details on what exactly Henry left in that voicemail. So later on in the day, the same stranger who gave his phone to Henry to make the voicemail to his girlfriend, as far as I understand, I'm basing this on a single source, and hopefully that source is not lying. That same stranger looks at Henry. They noticed them as they were eating their breakfast. They noticed that Henry is crossing Route 6 away from the motel. So Route 6 is that road that I just mentioned, and he seemingly walks towards that big, dense, wooded area on the other side of the road from the motel. But I believe that he returns to the motel because he is then seen for the very last time at 2 p.m. by a housekeeper who saw Henry speaking with an unidentified man. So this unidentified man is obviously someone we are very interested in. It's been 4 years, this man has not came forward. You have to ask yourself, what is the likelihood that this unidentified man is unaware about Henry's disappearance? And honestly, I think that would the only way to answer that question. I mean, we have to know this unidentified man's relations with Henry. Are they friends? Are they random strangers having a chit chat? Why is he important? I'm not sure. But the other thing that the housekeeper mentioned about the unidentified man, and I don't know how they were even able to come to this conclusion, or why would it hold some importance? Maybe it would. The housekeeper said that this man did not arrive in a car. So I believe, and once again I'm basing this off a single source one more time, that Henry also did not have a vehicle. And this other man also didn't come with a vehicle as well. So did they take a bus, or are they locals to this general location? Unfortunately, we cannot answer these questions. So Henry Fermino, he never formally checks out of the motel. He was due to check out on May 10th, which would be Monday. He never checks out, and he's never seen again after talking to that man the day prior at 2 p.m. His phone was found at the motel in his room. So Henry is gone, but his phone is still in his motel room. Henry was not reported as a missing person for another 9 days. I assume that Henry lives on his own. That's the only way I would feel like he's not being reported missing. He was reported missing on the 19th of May 2021 by his younger sister Trina, after Trina was called by Henry's son. And Henry was known to basically congratulate people on their birthdays and always show up. He had missed calling his son to congratulate on his birthday. He had missed calling his younger sister Trina to congratulate her with Mother's Day, and he had missed his own birthday, because May 19th, when he is being reported missing, this is the day when Henry Fermino was turning 61. Trina herself came out and she basically said that the last time she had spoken with her brother was several days before this mysterious booking of shady low-end Capri Motel, which was May 5th. At that point on May 5th, Henry had been in the hospital for a surgery that has never been publicly described. Now, Henry had a phone call, I think on the 5th of May, several days before he went missing, and he told Trina that he was feeling good. I would assume that the surgery is interesting. How are you having surgery and checking into a shady motel just days afterwards? Something doesn't add up to me right now. Henry in the past, according to his family, he would sometimes go away for multiple weeks, but he would always inform his family that he was going away. So he seemingly disappeared not on his own accord, the way I read into this story. So law enforcement started investigating after Henry was reported as a missing person. They did not find any formal checkout by Henry at the Capri Motel. Staff of the motel claimed that none of his belongings were left behind. But 1 week after, when the police showed up, they seemingly discovered his phone. And the phone was apparently placed on the front desk in a bag with Henry's name on it. So you're telling me this phone was on the front desk of Capri Motel with Henry's name on it for a week? And yeah, it was just there, I guess. Initially, when they looked at the phone, they didn't find anything of importance, and there was nothing found on the phone that would be useful to the case. Now, as you remember, Henry was leaving a voicemail on the second day of his Capri Motel stay to his girlfriend, but he has his own phone. Why is Henry using a stranger's phone to leave a voicemail to his girlfriend? He has his own phone. And why is he leaving the motel at some point during the 9th of May and leaving his phone behind? Did he intend to go back for that phone later on the 9th, and he ran into something that made him disappear? Something that did not help the investigators was the fact that the motel's surveillance cameras were not functional. So Capri Motel unfortunately did not have any functioning surveillance that could maybe provide some visual clues where Henry could have went. Naturally, the unidentified man remains a person of interest for the police, and Trina, Henry's sister, believes that this man knows more and he's not coming forward. So we have a guy here. We have our guy, Detective Kyle Costa from the Dartmouth Police Force. Kyle shared some interesting information that was not necessarily apparent at the very first glance when you take a look at Henry's case. Kyle said that Henry had interacted with multiple people at the motel, and all of them were interviewed, and no leads had emerged. So Henry was, probably a naturally outspoken, friendly person. He was talking to people at the motel. But unfortunately, none of these people could provide any clues. I wonder if they, mentioned if Henry was acting normal during his stay, or was he acting somewhat suspicious. So Kyle Costa mentioned that Henry was struggling with substance abuse and mental health, and he suggested a seedy element may have played a role in his disappearance. Authorities speculated that Henry may have become entangled with a dangerous crowd. And to corroborate this, I went online and I went to Judy Records. Judy Records is a good website where you can type in someone's name, and basically, if there are any publicly available either criminal cases or cases connected to this person, they will show up. And when you type in Henry Fermino, there are several of cases that are linked to him. And some of them are for drug possession, several other things. Now, there's one case that stuck out to me as maybe something important. 2 days before he checks into the motel, he has a case on Judy Records for disturbing the peace. 3 days before he checks into the motel, he is released from surgery. So the next day he has a disturbing the peace case. I don't know if it happened the next day or when exactly the disturbing the peace happened, but feels like he has surgery, he has disturbing the peace case, he goes into a motel at Capri Motel, shady motel, kind of close to where he lives. Is there a reason for him to be at Capri Motel? I don't know. I feel like there's some people with more information about Henry's case. Regardless, all of this seems very interesting to me. Police come out. They come out 2 months after Henry disappears. Police comes out. This is July 8th, 2021, roughly 2 months after Henry was last seen. They say, police says to the public, we have credible information suggesting that Henry may have been in the woods between Crossroad and Reed Road on May 11th. So this location is that wooded area from across the road from Capri Motel. Police believe that 1 day after his checkout, that he never formally checked out, he was seen in this location. And this is a huge wooded area. Police spent time searching, even dive teams spent searching the bodies of water, but no trace of him has ever been found. Naturally, I have a question: why are police suspecting that on the 11th of May he was in those woods? And why come out with this information 2 months later? The only logical reason for that I could think of is that police managed to access Henry's cell phone information, and they would trace his activity to those woods, but then his phone was found at the motel room on the 10th. So how would he be in those woods on the 11th? I mean, nothing is adding up to me unless they have a different lead that suggested to them that he was in those woods on the 11th of May. So unfortunately, this is where the story ends. We do not know anything else about Henry's case. If he is still alive, he is greatly missed by his family members who have came out publicly stating that they want closure. And Henry, he would be 65 if he is still alive in 2025. I don't know what to make of this case. To me, personally, it seems like there was already volatile moments in his life leading up to him checking into the motel. He had a surgery. He had the case for disturbing the peace. I don't know how that works. And yeah, he lives in New Bedford. The motel is 3 miles away. It's shady. It's a shady motel. Why do you go to a shady motel for the weekend? I mean, I see the point that the detective made. I see the point that substance could be involved here, obviously, right? Was he with someone consuming substances? And did something bad happen? Maybe. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. I could be wrong. I hope that we will find out more soon. But until then, I guess that's all I wanted to share about Henry Fermino's case. Thank you for listening.